Welcome to Superstar Sales Presentations, part of the Patricia Fripp 20-minute webinar series, where we focus on one subject in depth, give you some specific suggestions, and take any questions or comments you have after the recording is over. So whether you watch us online or as a replay, we hope you will get plenty of value. So officially, welcome to Superstar Sales Presentations. As you know, many of your competitors, they are good. They have great client references, you do. Their technology or their product or service is good. And when everything else is equal, very often the sales presentation can make an incredible difference. And I find that many companies spend a fortune helping their sales professionals understand what it is we sell, what is our competitive advantage, who are our competition. They have wonderful marketing materials. They have a great contact management system. They teach them about the territory. And then they forget that when you are in front of a prospect, what is it you say? Here are 3 basic ways that you can increase the persuasiveness and the impact and competitive edge of your presentation. Remember that everyone is more interested in themselves than you. And one way that you can position yourself ahead of your competition is to watch the I and you balance. For example, one of my friends, sales manager of the Fairmont Hotel, he called and said, "Patricia, help! As you know, I am a great sales professional one-on-one, but I have to stand up in front of a convention committee that's considering coming to the Fairmont, and I'm really nervous. What do I do?" I said, "Well, left to your own resources, what would you say?" And he said, "Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm really excited that you're considering the Fairmont, and I hope you're having a good time while you're here, and you're finding that the service of our staff." And I said, "Come on, look, you haven't had the impact. You're wasting time." So I asked him the questions that we need to always focus on before a presentation. 1, who is your audience? Convention committee. 2, what is the big idea you're selling? And he said, "Well, I'm really not selling the Fairmont, because if they come to San Francisco, they are definitely coming here. However, they're seriously considering San Diego." 3, how long do you have to speak? 8 minutes. And 4, what people frequently overlook. If you get this business, what is it worth to the Fairmont? He said $500,000. I said, "Let me get this straight. You have 8 minutes to make $400,000. $500,000. I said, "That is $1,041.66 a second, even when you pause." So let's roll up our sleeves and show how you can have a competitive edge. And this is how we incorporated the I versus you balance, which makes an emotional connection. In the next 8 minutes, you will decide the best decision you can make for your association and your members is to bring your convention to San Francisco in the Fairmont Hotel. That is 5 you or yours, 1 Fairmont. That is a high you balance. That makes the emotional connection. So that is a great way to grab their attention and make the connection. You're not going to knock your competition. So I just suggested he say, "San Diego is a magnificent destination, and you should go there another year." However, the reasons you should come to San Francisco this year, now you have to get logical, because we need a combination of emotion and logic, because this convention committee had to make a recommendation to their membership, to their leadership, to their association staff. So you are going to give specific ways of why it would be great to be in San Francisco. It could be as simple as the time of the year. The room rates are exceptional. It could also be, this is going to be part of Chinese New Year. There is a lot of celebrations in the city that people can enjoy that won't be a cost to you. Or this venue is recently refurbished and opened after 18 months. They are having especially affordable rates for your off-site location because they want to reintroduce it to the meetings industry. So there are a lot of good reasons that you come up with. And then, of course, rest assured, the 538 associates of the Fairmont Hotel will be here to serve you. And imagine, years from now, when your convention attendees are sitting around a convention hotel lobby reminiscing about the best conventions they've ever attended, and they remember their favorite in San Francisco at the Fairmont when you were the planning committee. So you can see we opened emotionally, we closed emotionally, and we had logic in between. That is not a bad way to frame your presentation, especially if it's short. So remember about sales conversations and presentations. And my philosophy is that life is a series of sales situations. We have to appeal to the other person's rational self-interest. So you make an emotional connection. An example from the Fairmont, you are smart enough to know that in any association or any volunteer organization, there's a lot more work than there is glory. So he was helping them see themselves as a hero, as well as making a great experience for their association membership. People make decisions for their reasons, not yours. And the highly you and your balance helps with that. And a confused mind says, no, it's an old adage, but it's true. We want it to be as simple as possible. Now, if we're looking at how the sales presentation fits into the process, you have to remember the key to connection is conversation. The secret of conversation is to ask questions, and the quality of the information you receive depends on the quality of your questions. So what we are taking into consideration here, that a company is looking for the right company to solve their problem. And you are one of the running, perhaps 40 or 20 has come down to 3. And in this situation, you would have 1 or 2 individuals within the prospect company whose job it is to give you the information. And the better the questions you ask, the better you can take the next suggestion, which is to take their priorities and reorganize the structure of your presentation to be around what they're interested in. Powerful sales presentations focused on your prospect's best outcome, structured for their priorities. They have to open and close on a high. They have to be scripted for specificity and have client case histories. So this is the structure. Now, whether you are online or whether you are just brought into the conference room, they will know who you are. I find most people's default position is, hi, my name is John Smith and I am with the ABC company, even if they've been introduced. I don't care if they know who you are or not. The first sentence has to be about the prospect, because who are they more interested in? Selves rather than you. So I suggest you start with congratulations. What are they proud of? And if it is a fact or a situation that's not obvious, even better. But it could be, congratulations, your latest marketing campaign is very impressive, or your website is amazing, or your stock price just went up 3 points and a couple of your major competitors are down. Your strategy is obviously working. It could be as simple as, congratulations, every single one of your associates who met me as I was walking to the conference room, engaged me, said good morning, asked if I needed help. Obviously, your core values are alive and well. Then, based on the words of whatever your prospect partner was, you have a challenge or an amazing opportunity or an awesome responsibility or an important decision to make. Pick one, but it could be you have a challenge. Your board of directors has required that you double your sales and, in fact, don't add any more personnel. Or you have an amazing opportunity to expand your offering internationally. Or you have an awesome responsibility your board of directors has charged you with, okay? Or you have an important decision to make. Is it your best choice to stay with the vendor that you've been using or to have a fresh approach? That's when you might say, thank you for the opportunity to discuss how the Patricia Fripp sales presentation skills training might be what you're looking for. You see, you never thank people for their time. If you sound the same as everybody else, you have no advantage. This is why thank them for the opportunity to discuss how your solution can help solve their problem. Now you make a hero of the person who prepared you for your meeting. You say, John has been very generous with his time and information, and he mentioned that your challenges are, or your key priorities are, or you are most interested in hearing about. Again, you understand how the questioning is now structured into your presentation. This is the time. This presentation is structured around your interest, priorities, major focus. Your questions or other topics to be discussed are welcome. In case we haven't had the pleasure of meeting, this is when you introduce yourself. They are more likely to care and remember because you got to the point, you've made it about them. I'm Patricia Fripp, and in my role as your account manager, or whatever your role will be for them, based on my 15 years experience serving clients of your size and complexity, you can expect. Now, can you understand we're using you-focused language here that you heard? Then you've gone through your content that is based on their priorities. Now you're going to come through to the close your presentation. You're going to review your talking points based on their interest. You would then say, ask their questions after each chunk of content, each talking point. And if it's complex, you might want to ask if they have any questions. Now, you know as well as I do, if you're talking to a senior team, they're going to ask questions whenever they want. So answer their questions and make a recommendation based on what they say. What do you recommend the next logical step is? And I personally, and I hope you agree, like the idea of logic. This is a logical step. Again, you thank them for the opportunity, and then your last words linger. And I relate your last words linger almost like the PS to the sales letter. All good copywriters will tell you they write the PS first. And this is never a new idea. It is a reinforcement of one of your key ideas. Now, for one of my client firms, it was, remember, 157 profitable quarters, because they were the big player in the industry and they wanted to emphasize, look, we're secure. We've been in business. Doesn't matter what the economy does. We are never going out of business. Another was, remember, 99% of the Fortune 100 do business with us. If it was my firm, which is small, I am a boutique firm, I cannot compete with an international training company. But when it is to my advantage, I say, remember, the president of the company is doing the training. Remember, you have my cell phone number. You can call or text any day of the week, any time of the day. So let's do a quick review. One, you are focusing on a high IU balance. Secondly, you are changing your script to what you're probably doing, to not introduce yourself immediately, to start talking about them and structuring your presentation around their interests. And within your key talking points within the presentation, you are going to give examples of how you serve other people just like them. And this will be your client case histories, your stories and examples, because your prospects will remember what they see, which is why examples and stories are so powerful. And a good story success formula for a sales presentation is situation, solution, success. And you pick a great example, and all sales professionals need an arsenal of good stories that would relate to any of the prospects that they talk to. Situation. Now, this is, imagine you take several conversations and you shrink them. And if your client were to do exactly what my friend at the Fairmont did and said, help, how would they articulate the problem? So when we first got a call from John, the Senior Vice President of Marketing for a large manufacturing firm, he said, help. How would he articulate the problem? Then the solution is where you talk about. So what we did for John is what most of our clients appreciate. We do the 4-step process of go through that, and then the success. If John were here, he would tell you. Now you deliver it in his words. I would not have believed it possible that within 4 months, we could. Now, again, deliver the dialogue that John would actually use if he was there. And then one other short, specific way that you can add an edge to your presentation is to understand that specificity builds credibility. The more we text and email, the less we are being articulate in how we communicate. And if you want to make one investment in your firm, you don't need any more product knowledge. And let's face it, most of the prospects at this point that you're delivering a presentation have researched you. They know almost as much as a salesperson. Be specific, be tight. You will not improve what you're not aware of, and I suggest you record your rehearsals. Yes, you're going to rehearse. If you're going to make a good amount of money from your sales, you need to rehearse. And what you take in everyday conversation, you take to the boardroom. And we don't want to bore the boardroom. Do you use the word stuff? It is in everybody's conversation. It is disgusting. Stuff is debris. It isn't specific. And also what is really overused is the word things. The question I ask my clients more than any other question is specifically, what do you mean by things? An example, one of my technology firms, great, brilliant engineers who help with the sales process. And one, I was coaching him, he said, there are two things that people like about. And I said, if they weren't things, what would they be? Two innovative upgrades. And there are plenty of people in the world. What people do you mean? Systems administrators. Can you understand the difference between there are two things people like and there are two innovative upgrades that systems engineers love? See the difference. Be specific. And you do not promise our customer get tons of value. That's wait is the wrong word. Be specific and build your credibility. So you have heard, one, you need you-focused language. Watch the balance. You also need, if you listen to our friend from the Fairmont Hotel, that you need an emotional and logical formula. Then, based on your questions, your good questions, you are going to restructure your presentation around their interest rather than this is who we are, this is how long we've been in business, this is who we serve, and this is what we're known for, and we'd love to help you. That does not work if you want to be competitive. Then you, of course, tell good stories, case histories that relate the problem or the situation that this company has, and then add the power of specificity. I certainly hope that this has been of value, and remember, all learning needs repetition and reinforcement. Would certainly love to have a conversation with you if you would like to discuss how the Fripp training could very well be what you are looking for. We can do this in person, online at Fripp VT, Fripp Virtual Training, interactive online presentation and sales presentation skills training. Happy to have a conversation. Most clients have a combination of some help plus the repetition and reinforcement from online learning. Certainly, I hope that this experience has challenged you to have some questions, and we will take those offline. If you have a question from this webinar, just email me pfripp@fripp.com in the subject line. Put question from webinar. Fripp VT is my online learning, my phone number, Twitter. And if you're interested in sales and presentation skills, you might want to join my Facebook group. You can go to Facebook groups and put Patricia Fripp. You will find it. There's a bit.ly link. And to reinforce what you have heard and learned on the Fripp.com homepage, you will see a link to the public speaking resources. Again, there is a shorter bit.ly link. And remember, the sales presentation can sway the whole process and the chance to win the sale in your favor. We certainly hope that you will tune into another Patricia Fripp 20-minute webinar or have a conversation with us. Remember, all learning requires repetition and reinforcement.